It's time for another book review, and today's book review is Blue by Jessica Grace. Now, I do want to start this review off by saying I did not finish this book. I got about 60% of the way through it, and I had to put it down. Why did I have to put it down, you ask? I have never before read a book that legitimately made me feel disgusting while I was reading it, okay? I have been reading true crime books since I was like 10, okay? I have been reading smutty romance books, monster romance books for years now. So it takes a lot for me to feel disgusted by a book. So before we get into this, here is your list of tropes and triggers. If you don't like those tropes, if you don't like those triggers, do not read the book. Maybe don't watch the review. That is entirely up to you. So let's start out. This book, Blue. The core plot of this book is Blue is a 17-year-old girl who has been under her father's thumb for her entire life. Her mother died in a terrible car wreck when she was younger, and now she just wants to go to college and escape her father. The college she decides to go to is in the UK, where she'll be away from her father, she'll be out from underneath his thumb, she won't have as many problems. Her father obviously wants to control the situation because that's what controlling people do. And so he contacts his business partner, Nate Walker, who is 34 years old, and says, "Hey, Nate, can Blue come stay with you?" And Nate goes, "No." And so his business partner, because that is what Blue's father is, Nate's business partner goes, "What if I promise to give you all of this company?" And Nate goes, "What was that? Yeah, I'd love to have Blue stay with me. That would be wonderful. Thank you so much." What Nate doesn't tell his business partner is, "Hey, by the way, my 12-year long marriage, I'm currently going through a divorce. I'm staying in a penthouse. My wife will not be in the picture." That's not mentioned at all. So then Blue flies across the ocean and goes to the UK and starts staying with this man. And she is attracted to him. She is 17. She is a minor, okay? And do you know what a 17-year-old and a 34-year-old have in common? Nothing. Fucking nothing. They have nothing in common. 17, 34, nothing. So they're staying together, and Blue makes it very obvious that she is attracted to him, and he is attracted to her. Fine, whatever. The author specifically writes several times from Nate Walker's perspective that she is a child. Several times this is mentioned, like, oh, she's a child. Oh, this is a kid. Oh, this is wrong. And then he basically gaslights her and abuses her. He gets her kicked out of college. All kinds of awful things. And then she turns 18 while she is staying with him. And immediately their relationship turns sexual. Immediately sexual. And I felt so disgusting reading this, because you have an emotionally immature child, because that's essentially what she is, who has never had a serious relationship, doesn't know how to do anything in the real world really, because she's always been protected, and you are the first adult that has really shown interest in her, and you are absolutely taking advantage of this situation. Now, I do want to back this up a little bit and say I have no problems with age gap romances, for the most part. I don't really like when, it's like a 19-year-old girl and a 500-year-old fae, and it's like, she gets me like no one else does. It's a little gross. It's a little creepy. But my husband and I have 7 years difference between us in our marriage. He is 7 years older than me. We met, 7 years ago. Funny how that works. But the difference in most of these age gap romances that happen in real life is both parties are adults. They're not a child and an adult. And that, I think, is what really bothered me about this book. And that's what made me feel so gross. Because it felt like, a high school teacher who's 30 is dating his student. Because it goes on later in the book that Nate Walker ends up hiring her to work for him, because that's her goal, and it's the only way, he can keep her over there with him and not tell her father everything that has happened. So not only is he having an inappropriate sexual relationship with somebody who's barely legal, he's also now her boss, and he's fucking her. So there's that. I think what disturbed me even more than this book, and I didn't finish this book. I did put this book down. I was like, I got 60% of the way through. I couldn't do it anymore. Every time I read it, I felt disgusting. Like, I felt icky every time. Was after I read a book, if I plan on reviewing it, I do like to go see, like, what did other people think about this book? Is it just me? Am I being weird? And I went through and I read a bunch of comments on this book. And a lot of the comments are people going, oh my God, this romance was so sweet. Or I love how taboo it was. Or ladies, men reading this book, that is a minor. He was fucking a minor. Yes, she just turned 18. Yes, technically she's a legal adult. But I don't know about you. I don't know how many 18-year-olds you know. But I wouldn't touch any of them. I didn't even like them when I was 18. They don't know anything. They truly don't know anything. They are just finding their footing in the world. And for an adult to take advantage of that, an adult in this book who is essentially her caretaker, her boss, gets her kicked out of school, gaslights her. Come on. And to cap it all off, I think the worst part about this is the author's writing style was really good. I found this book on TikTok, I saw a little snippet of it and I was like, oh, this is really interesting. It wasn't. Not all books on TikTok are good, unfortunately. I wish it had been. I do like the author's writing style. I don't know that I'll ever read another book by her simply because now I don't trust the fact that there's not going to be a gross age gap like that. But, yeah. So, Blue by Jessica Grace, I gave it a 1 out of 5, I do believe. So, thank you so much for watching. Please like, follow, and subscribe, and then tune in on Tuesdays and Thursdays for another book review. Thank you so much.